Justin had worked tirelessly to afford his dream home, a stunning property with a private pool, an uncommon luxury in his upscale neighborhood. For him, the pool wasn't just a place to unwind, it was a symbol of his achievements. But lately, an unexpected problem had surfaced. His neighbor, Karen. She wasn't the friendly type, never greeting him with a smile. Yet somehow, she had no issue helping herself to his pool. The first time Justin noticed, it was early in the summer. She was lounging on a float, sunglasses perched on her face, as if she owned the place. Confused, he walked up and politely reminded her that this was private property. Karen barely acknowledged him, dismissing him with a lazy wave like he was an annoying fly. "It's just a pool," she scoffed. "What's the big deal? We're neighbors." At first, Justin let it slide, assuming she might not have understood. But it didn't stop. Every few days, Karen would stroll into his backyard like she had a key to the place. Sometimes, she even brought friends. Growing frustrated but keeping his composure, Justin repeatedly asked her to stop, reminding her she was trespassing. But Karen always had an excuse. This whole area was built for the community, she argued one afternoon while dipping her toes in the water. "If you can afford this, then I should be able to use it too." That statement hit differently. It wasn't just her entitlement, it was the tone behind it. It felt as if, in her mind, a black man owning something so nice was a mistake, one she had the right to correct. One last time, Justin tried reasoning with her. "Karen, I bought this house. This pool isn't public. If you want to swim, you can join a club or get your own." Her response was immediate and dismissive. "That's ridiculous," she scoffed, standing up and drying herself off with his towel. "People like you shouldn't be so selfish." Justin could feel his patience slipping. It was clear Karen didn't just see the pool as hers for the taking. She saw him as someone who didn't deserve to have it. By the time she left that day, Justin knew being polite wasn't enough. Something had to change. He dealt with entitled neighbors before, but Karen was different. It was bad enough that she treated his backyard like a public park, but the way she acted, as if his success was a mistake, made it even more infuriating. Enough was enough. The next morning, Justin took action. He installed a high-quality lock on the gate, set up security cameras, and posted clear, private property and no trespassing signs. For the first time in weeks, he felt at ease. That peace lasted exactly 2 days. On the third afternoon, while inside his home, Justin heard a loud rattling noise coming from the backyard. Checking the security feed on his phone, he wasn't surprised by what he saw.
Karen.
She was gripping the locked gate, shaking it violently, her face red with frustration. He could hear bits of her angry muttering through the camera's microphone, occasional bursts of "unbelievable" and "how dare he." Then, she pulled out her phone, pacing in front of the gate. Moments later, sirens wailed in the distance. Justin sighed. He already knew what was coming. Within minutes, 2 police officers arrived. Karen rushed toward them, dramatically waving her arms. "Thank God you're here," she cried, pointing at Justin's house. "That man is threatening me. He locked me out for no reason. He's trying to intimidate me." Justin stepped outside, keeping his hands visible to avoid any trouble. "Good afternoon, officers. What seems to be the issue?" One of the cops, an older man with tired eyes, gave Justin a once-over before glancing at Karen, who was panting as if she'd run a marathon. "She says you threatened her," he said cautiously. Justin didn't even blink. "I haven't spoken to her today," he replied calmly. "But I do have security footage." Karen's face twisted. "He's lying," she shrieked. "He's been harassing me for weeks. He put up that lock just to keep me out?" Justin unlocked his phone, tapped the screen a few times, and held it up. "Actually, I put up the lock because she keeps trespassing on my private property. And I've got the video to prove it." The officers watched the footage in silence. It showed Karen attempting to break in, her tantrum captured in full clarity. The second officer leaned in, his eyebrows raising slightly. "Ma'am," the older cop said after a pause, his tone firm. "This is his property. You don't have any right to be here." Karen's mouth opened and closed like a fish gasping for air. But he's being unfair. He's trying to keep me out on purpose. Yes, Justin said dryly. That's exactly the point. The officers exchanged looks. One turned back to Karen. If you set foot on this property again, you'll be arrested for trespassing. Do you understand? Karen's face turned an alarming shade of purple. Letting out a frustrated growl, she spun on her heel and stormed away. Justin watched her go, shaking his head. He knew this wasn't over. People like Karen didn't just let things go. They retaliated. But what she didn't know, Justin wasn't done either. And he had an idea that would change everything.